Blast on and off with this new daily trainer from ASICS featuring their latest Flyte Foam Blast Plus midsole technology, promising lightweight, maximum protection for those long runs. This is my first impressions review of the GEL-NIMBUS 24. Hello and welcome back to The Vegan Runner. Today we're taking a closer look at the latest in the GEL-NIMBUS lineup, the 24. The main difference between the 23 and the 24 is the new Flyte Foam Blast Plus midsole, which promises advanced impact protection and soft landings, all while saving 10 grams in weight over the previous model. We'll get into how the new midsole performs over a variety of different running scenarios in just a moment, but if you're like me though and you're new to the GEL-NIMBUS lineup, this running shoe is designed as a super plush, super cushioned daily trainer with a heel-to-toe drop of 10mm, and in my size, UK 7.5, it weighs 280 grams. I've put about 20 miles on the shoe so far, an 8-mile fartlek workout, running through a whole range of paces from sprints to marathon race pace, an easy 4-mile recovery run keeping the heart rate nice and low, and an hour-long foundation run clocking up some daily training miles. I've put the shoe through a variety of different speeds, paces, terrain types, and given it a good chance to show me what it can do. In this review we'll take a look at all of the main features of the shoe, the upper, the midsole and outsole, its durability, price, how they all come together, and whether I'd recommend this shoe for your running. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with the upper then, we have an engineered mesh made of 2 layers. The top layer has these kind of perforations you can see around the toe box. Then the second layer is a thin, more tightly knitted material that's very comfortable around your foot. The upper is very similar to a lot of shoes on the market at the moment. It's likely you'll feel quite familiar with it already. The lacing system is also pretty standard and works well, but something that was a surprising and positive change for this shoe is the new knitted tongue. It's much thinner than I was expecting for a plush daily trainer, but it works really, really well. It has this stretch-like feel to it, and it's really easy to adjust even after you've tightened your laces. Its gusseted construction means the tongue is held securely in place and sits comfortably on the top of your foot. It's probably one of my favourite aspects of this shoe. I haven't come across a tongue like it before. I don't think there's anything like it on any other ASICS shoes, and I really enjoyed the innovation in this area. Another of my favourite aspects of this shoe is the heel counter. It's pretty rigid, it's pretty built up and looks pretty standard to be fair, but they have nailed the comfort level here. There's a load of foam stuffed into this heel counter with this very cool looking material covering it. It kind of reminds me of the stratification of layers of rock. It's really smooth and it's really well finished. As soon as you put your foot inside the shoe, your ankle feels wrapped in support and comfort. And as someone who's clocking up 50, 60, 70 miles a week, I appreciate that stability and plushness. From a design point of view, I like the look of the upper, particularly at the back. We have these dashes of lime green stitching and the wave-like plastic swirls on either side. The GEL-NIMBUS 24 lettering and even the central stitching looks really neat and well constructed. It just feels like a well-made and carefully considered design. The only slight issue I've had with the upper so far is that it does run a little warm. It's quite hot here for the UK anyway. Yesterday it was kind of about 15, 16 degrees running at midday. And even running into a strong headwind though, it was difficult to feel much air flowing through that toe box. Not hugely concerned, it's not surprising for such a plush shoe, and it wasn't unbearably hot, but as we head into the summer months, it'll be something I'll be keeping an eye on for my full review. Right, moving on to the Flyte Foam Blast Plus midsole. You're going to notice its comfort and squishiness as soon as you stand up in these shoes. It's super soft and flexible, and that comfort and softness extends to running as well. Honestly, as soon as I started running in these, a huge smile spread across my face. After putting 500 miles on my last daily trainer, full review of the Adidas Ultra Boost 22 coming soon, and then putting these shoes on fresh out of the box, just wow, it's just everything I want a daily trainer to feel like. And actually, for a plush daily trainer, it's remarkably flexible through that forefoot. There's a decent amount of twist there. It does become pretty rigid towards the middle and back of the shoe, and that's largely down to what ASICS call their truss stick technology. Essentially, it's a rigid piece of plastic. You can just about see it. If I flip the shoe over here on the sort of inside of the midsole. And that's kind of pretty much what you want really from a shoe that you're going to be clocking up a lot of easy miles in, especially now as I begin to run double workout sessions. That second workout I use for recovery. My legs are going to likely be feeling a little tired already, and I just want to give my feet and ankles a bit of a rest and not have them worry too much about how they land, and it's just nice to have that extra little bit of comfort and stability. I didn't find the midsole too soft or squishy, or the shoe too heavy and plush for the speed work. Now, I know some runners get a bit carried away and have a different pair of running shoes for every occasion. But if you're new to running or just looking for one shoe that can pretty much do it all, you won't go wrong with this one. Even top end speed felt stable and quick, and was surprising for a built-up daily trainer. What I didn't get to test, and will be something to make a note of for my full review, is what the shoe is like for, say, something like a 10k race pace session or a tempo workout, something like that with longer, speedier intervals where you really have to hold that pace for a long time. It'll be interesting to see how that shoe performs there. Perhaps the weight and the plush cushioning will play a different role in that type of scenario, but my early testing is positive. I'm really enjoying this midsole, and it's kind of a breath of fresh air. It's difficult to comment on its durability at this stage. Fingers crossed it remains this responsive and comfortable for the next 300 to 400 miles. Oh, I almost forgot as well, the gel in the midsole. After all, it's called the Gel-NIMBUS. To me, gels and trainers feels a bit 90s. It's the sort of shoe I would have loved to show off as a 7-year-old on the playground at primary school. But nowadays, to me, it does look and feel a little bit gimmicky. But looks aren't everything, and the midsole is performing beautifully in the comfort, stability and performance areas. So credit where credit's due. ASICS, you can keep adding gel if you like. Right, onto the outsole. If I didn't know this was an ASICS shoe, I might have mistakenly recognised the outsole as a pair of Hokas, really. It looks and feels very similar to me, with plenty of exposed foam and patches of rubber in all the right places, with a series of grooves and lines cut into the outsole, giving the shoe that flexibility I mentioned earlier, as well as helping to keep the shoe lightweight. As for the rubber itself, ASICS are using two types. They're light rubber, which they claim is a more sustainable rubber, and then they're also using their AHA rubber, which, as a Partridge fan, I absolutely adore. This rubber is a high abrasion rubber and is placed in areas of the outsole for durability. I've had a really good look for this rubber and can't tell the difference between the light or the so I'll take ASICS, I'll take their word for it. Who knows where it is, it all looks pretty much the same to me. Traction is decent on the roads, as you'd expect. It did struggle on a very gritty, compacted trail run, which is almost sort of tarmac, but it's kind of like a sort of hybrid trail kind of road, and it was slipping a tiny bit there, but it wasn't anything too worrying. And again, I was going at, at speed when I noticed it. Just a note on its durability, I have noticed some wear to the rubber already. It's slightly worrying, nothing too major, but after the first 20 miles or so I wasn't really expecting to see much wear, but I can already see signs of the rubber breaking down a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes on. Hopefully it stands up better than most Hokers that I've tried that have a similar sort of grip pattern where the rubber wears down really quickly. I'm thinking of like the Rincon Free, Cliftons are a bit similar as well. So fingers crossed the Nimbus is a bit more durable than those shoes. If you're looking for a daily trainer that's going to be comfortable right out of the box, that you can throw just about everything at, I don't think you'll go far wrong with the Gel-Nimbus 24. At the moment it's doing everything I want it to and excelling in the comfort area. The only other daily trainer I've been this excited about having on my feet is the Glycerin 19 from Brooks. Now, I've just ordered the Glycerin 20, so watch out for the first impressions review of that shoe coming soon. The Glycerin 19s are an absolute workhorse and also very plush and very comfortable, very similar to this shoe. Now if the Glycerin 20 brings improvements, then ASICS have got some stiff competition on their hands, especially since the Glycerin is retailing at £150, which is I think £15 cheaper than the Gel-Nimbus. Right, that brings me to the end of my first impressions review. I hope you've enjoyed that. Please show your appreciation and support the channel by hitting that like and subscribe button. If you've been running in the Gel-Nimbus for a while now, maybe you've been running in them for the last few iterations, let me know what their durability is like. Let me know if you'll be purchasing this one as well. And until the next one, be the best you.